Everyone, welcome to 8 Ball Blitz. We are here with our 8-bit bracket, basically the top bracket. I am Topic, joined by Sasu, and we got some round one matchup for you. Of course, this is counter picks, but as always, we have a neutral one, which is going to be Mako Mart Zones. Sasu, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. We just got those results for the Splatfest. I myself was on Team Present. So
Okay.
so as a little present to me, I've got those extra shells. So couldn't be better here. But we are, like you said, here at 8-bit Blitz 25, looking at Splat Zones Mako Mart. Interested to see what these loadouts are going to be. I find when it comes to here, we're bound to see a lot of AoE if everyone is kind of going to be camping under these stacks, and there's a lot of verticality to this map. What do you think?
Yeah, also I forgot to mention the teams we're watching are Reload versus Steampunkers. So yeah, first. Okay, so yeah, like you're saying, I do, as a bucket player myself, I do see, yes, I'm not personally a fan of Mako Mart, which is weird to say, but I just don't like the map in general. I think it doesn't feel right to me. But overall, I do think it is very good for bucket players, for blaster players, for carbons especially, because you can just sit under ledges. You can sit underneath the little window ledge. You can sit underneath the snipe just in general. You can sit underneath the stack and just use that mobility of, because you're allowed to move around the stack so much, you can just do so much with it. But we're going to see what we do. We're going to see a Dreadringer from side of Reload, a very good weapon. Actually, Dreadringer on both sides for a little bit of zone cheese. Everyone loves a little bit of zone cheese. And from Steampunkers, actually a double bucket charger. Not something you see very often.
Yes, but I will say it is extremely powerful to have those AoEs with those great reaches on either side. And like you called out before, we do have a carbon online on the side of Reload. Perfect, just as you said, for camping under there. But when you're up against someone special, when you have this cheese here, you're gonna have to be careful. Even if you are on that stack, none of the stacks here are safe when you have so many people that can peek over them.
I mean, yeah, and so far, Steampunkers are using that to advantage, getting at least a 67, but we're going to see a flank from Goldilocks to 52 here. Unfortunately, they're going to go down, so Reload has an opportunity to get some points on the board. Strikes are going to come out, but get quickly painted over. But we can see a lot of fights over mid. Steampunkers, they take a really early advantage because of a couple of really, really good snipes from the Charger back there, able to get some, as they see a Reef Slider just survive. A Reef Slider, you know what? As expected, but so far we're gonna see Steampunkers quickly take over control once again as Roddy pops a crap to try to get something going here. Is able to get one, not quite able to find a second one, but Steampunkers going 2 down, not looking good for them right here.
Wow, it is a lot of back and forth. We have some extremely aggressive weapons online, and quite frankly, as soon as I believe it was Reload was able to kind of put the kibosh, so to speak, on this push that was coming out of Steampunkers. Since then, it's just been a lot of back and forth and capping and recapping, but I suppose that's to be expected when you have 2 Reef Sliders on either side. The zone is just never going to be safe. Everyone just fighting in mid here, going back, trying to clean up, and hoping to get rid of anyone who may have the Reef Slider, and they've done it, so they know they're not going to get cheesed back. But again, back and forth, with Steampunkers able to finally get through these penalty points, ticking down to a 40 halfway through the game.
I mean, yeah, we're halfway through, but Reload are not giving up that easily. I feel like Reload had, ever since that first push from Steampunkers, they've been really good at just kind of responding. They haven't been folding as easy as we got another Reef Slider going in, getting to actually another flank from Goldilocks. He's trying to get something going, not able to quite get the Dreadringer, but at least getting attention away from the zones. Gonna work. One gonna go down, 2 going out, going for the triple there. It is, and just like that, Reload in a very strong spot to hold the zone. Kachino there going straight for the Reef Slider cheese is not gonna work. They're gonna get shut down super quickly, and Reload, despite the early setbacks, will actually take the lead and looking to get a little bit more, getting it down to 25 ticks remaining.
A brilliant lead swap here. Goldilocks for sure saying this is just right for me with those flanks that they don't seem to keep watching. But you see here with this crab that's in mid getting an absolute crazy triple. They are able to cap off the rest of the game and take home that W.
I mean, that from Riley was just absolute perfect timing, because if you saw Steampunkers, they did pop strikes in the zone. So all three from the, I believe it was the ZF charger from Snipe. It was in that general area. I don't know the exact spot. It was in that general area. They did pop strikes, and it did go off. And all three members came from the left-hand side, and unfortunately, they just ran into a machine gun, basically, of Riley just letting it loose, and just with the crowd getting a very clutch triple kill. Yes, you can say that Reload was already gonna win. They had about 5 ticks or 7 ticks remaining when that triple happened, I want to say, in that general area. But it was just, that was the cherry on top, really.
You know, Topic, I'm actually kind of inclined to disagree. I feel like it wasn't necessarily in the bag for Reload there. I think if they hadn't gotten that triple, they would have been in a lot of trouble. Well, maybe not a lot of trouble, but I definitely think they would have been able to go in and contest that zone. Mako Mart definitely not a lot of space from zone, from spawn. I think it's not super difficult to kind of drop there and get to the zone. But speaking of zones, it appears we will be heading to Robo Ramen as picked by Steampunkers. I have to wonder what it is in particular that's making them pick this particular map mode here. I did see, I think of note, extremely easy to cheese this zone. One well-placed reef slider is all you need, and the zone is practically yours.
I mean, yeah, that as well, and also the fact that this map does have a lot of flanking routes, because the middle section is kind of on a raised platform, so you do have to watch out basically the entire lower track to make sure that nothing can come up from either side. So I do think for Steampunkers, they're going to try to take advantage of that really well, trying to get a couple of really good flanks, maybe get Grubhub there on a charger, and there's some couple of good spots, especially on snipes, you can hit from that spot to mid. So maybe something like that, but we're going to see, because both teams with no changes to their comps, they could feel comfortable with what they got.
Well, speaking of those flanks, I was just about to bring this up. Goldilocks, as we saw that last game, very infamous for these flanks and really gunning people down when they come from the side. So Steampunkers really going to have to lock in, check those flanks, and make sure they don't have a pesky gal just shooting at them from the side. And so far, it seems as though they're doing a solid job moving in, but unfortunately, not yet able to cap this zone. Wondering if they can at least get that last one with the Zuka before a kind of jump out to safety. But it seems as though Steampunkers currently does have their hands on the zone handily. They might be able to get a full wipe here.
I mean, a commentator's curse, there's a reef slider, but it's not going to be enough by a little bit. Steampunkers is able to hold on, get a triple kill in return, and with no one else in sight, the last member respawning. Actually, hold on, Hammy is going to be there, get one, they're going to go down. So Steampunkers, a complete 180 from last game after getting a really good first push to just losing fights, and then Reload eventually won. Steampunkers, from word go, just put their foot on the gas, and they just did not stop. They kept Reload back. They just did whatever they wanted. So maybe it wasn't necessarily the flanks, it was just the map being more having that big choke point really right after the zone. Maybe that's kind of what helped them.
Yeah, what a complete dominant game. Knockout from 100 down to 0. You have to admit that is part of the power of a counter pick. You know what works for you. You know what you're strong on. The other team might be weak there, but they have no choice but to play into your strengths. And it seems as though Steampunkers, they know themselves well. They were able to pick the perfect place for them, but now I'm sure they're sweating. They have a counter pick that's coming out here from Team Reload, and they're going to be kind of having this home field advantage going into the last game that's going to cap off the set.
Well, if you're Reload, right, I think if I was in their shoes, I would probably go to a very strong Carbon map, right? Off the top of my head, I can think of Humpback. I can think of Humpback. Possibly, if Aristides might be Clams. Okay, you know what? I was right. That's a pretty good Carbon map. Clams, Barnacle, and Dime. You do have those straight flanks. You do have the right under snipe you can hit. You do have the block you can hit from up there. So I think also it's a very, very good Carbon map. Also, it's a lot more fight. It's much like the first map, Make Mart. It is very fight heavy. Even though it's a Tetris piece, it's a Z-shaped Tetris piece. Everyone loves that. It is very fight heavy. You're gonna see a lot of fights in mid or in streets. Or no, you're gonna see fights in mid or on the plats of either team. It's one of the two, because that's usually where most of the clans will spawn.
I would almost argue you're gonna see fights in both. One of the things about Barnacle and Dime, this map is huge. You're just to get to the basket, you're going to be taking multiple team fights on that plat, in mid, right under the basket in that court area. And you're going to have to win all of them. Like you said, strong map for Carbon, especially well known to be a strong Zuka map as well. So Steampunkers are going to have to duck for cover when that comes out. Let's see these loadouts.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It looks like, ooh, okay. An E-Leader 4K reminiscent of Splatoon 1 with the Kraken. And so that will be the only change. So Grubhub going for a bit more of that long range, trying to pick people off from a distance, like what worked for Steampunkers in that first game that we're gonna see. Because I think the change over to the E-Leader is going to be very, very impactful. It's going to make Reload kind of take a second guess before doing anything really reckless.
Actually, interestingly enough, I believe we have also seen a change in, there was a T-Tech class game that is missing. I think that may have changed over to a V bucket. So we're still going to have those triple ink strikes online, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to matter. There's already a ball in there with Reload down to 53, which is absolutely what you want to see, as most people say, and I agree with you. You have to get under that 60 point. So you have to justify giving the other team this pity power clam that they're automatically going to get with the barrier back up. And Reload is able to do that successfully. They are proving why it is. They've used this as a counter pick.
I mean, hey, they're being really strong on it. They're able to kind of blitz towards Steampunkers and just put the fight in their court, make them deal with it. As you can see, Riley just being set up here, just being like that beacon that really the team needs to jump back to just in case. And also, I believe Reload has running no cooler. I can't believe that's the first time I'm actually noticing they're running no cooler, so they had to be really selective about the fights they take, and unfortunately Riley will go down, so that will give Steampunkers at least an opportunity to get maybe a little bit something going here.
Oh yes, that's true. We failed to notice, I suppose, that the edit they're using is actually the edit nouveau, the one that has crab rather than the one that has cooler. So they are up, they are coolerless themselves up against a cooler team. However, Reload does have 2 members down. They're going to have to sort of mitigate this space that they're trying to keep while it is they wait for the rest of their teammates to come in here on mid. Unfortunately, going down with the power clam, they're gonna have to we have dual reef sliders there. Unfortunately, we have Hammy having to pick up that power clam. Not what you want to do if you are a Carbon who spends a lot of time definitely trying to do a lot of hiding. But the clam economy certainly on Steampunker's side, but not for long. Several of them, I think, going down to an unfortunate bomb, and now they are going to have to work very hard to make sure there isn't yet another power clam in their own basket.
I mean, yeah, Riley with I believe that was a double kill with that splat bomb, just doing a lot of work of forcing Steampunkers back, but unfortunately Reload not able to fully capitalize on that as Steampunkers are very, very quickly able to respond, but you do see Hammy getting a triple kill, including an Inkjet or Inkzuka snipe from close range, so great job to that for not giving up too much space, and here we are once again, Steampunk or Reload trying to find a way in, Steampunkers playing some defense here, making sure that nothing really happens. Timmy with the with the roof sided, there it is. They're gonna go away. Unfortunately, they're gonna go down to the elite. So Goldilocks here is forced to back away, and Steampunkers with a very, very solid defense here, but I think the problem for them this game has been they haven't really been able to translate that to any real offense. They've kind of been stuck on this plat area of reloads.
What I will say, like we were talking about before we started this game, Barnacle and Dime, huge map. And because of that, you're going to have to win multiple fights if you're going to get to that basket. And it seems as though the 2-3 or so fights that you have to take and win in order to get to the basket, they can't seem to win all 3 of them. Too many of them will go down. We do see that basket momentarily broken open for Steampunkers. Unfortunately, it's just going to be that power clam, meaning they have handed a free pity clam to the side of Reload, which you have to wonder if it was worth it necessarily. But 3 already down on the side of Reload. This may be the time for Steampunkers getting this wipe to finally make their way to the basket and possibly get this lead.
I mean, there it is. Sherbet's gonna score. They need 20 more points to hit. Phobos has a couple more. Grubhub in return gonna get down. They're gonna take the lead, but go 3 down. Very, very good. But now you need to make sure that you do not die. You need your strikes. You need your resider. You need to make sure Reload cannot get anywhere near you. Unfortunately, that's a really bad start. Final 10 seconds left in the game. Goldilocks with the ball. Riley popping the crowd to create some space. Timmy with the slider also in the There's a Kraken coming out as well. 2 down on both sides. The ball not being thrown is going to be dropped. Another one's going to go down. 1 member remaining for Reload. They're going to go down as well. Both balls will... No, they still have the pity clam, though. They need to rush it right now if they want to win. And unfortunately, they're not going to, as Steampunkers will shut that down. And Reload, unfortunately, one... misstep in defense will lead to you losing the game and losing the set. Steampunkers, what a good job of just holding on and not losing until it was over.
Yeah, a very clutch come from behind win there. Also, they have to be celebrating. They did win on a counter pick against them, and like you said, they were struggling most of the game, but at the end of the day, able to win that last fight they needed to get into that basket. They were not wiped out quick enough, and that was just the game for them.
Yeah, just very unfortunate. Reload, they did put up a really valiant effort. It was just, like I said earlier, one misstep, one wrong foot forward, and unfortunately, they just tripped over themselves. So, congratulations to Steampunkers. You will be moving on to our semifinals. Reload, this is where your tourney runs ends, but hey, you can at least leave with your head held high, knowing that you gave a very entertaining set. So with that will be it for our quarterfinals, but we're going to take a very, very quick break before we get back to you with our semifinal set.
And welcome back to 8-Bit Blitz number 25. I believe we are in semis. We're looking at Fight Club versus Are We Geeked or Locked In? Heading to Zone's Mahi Mahi Resort. I'm here with Topic. Topic, what are you thinking about this map mode?
Okay, well, before I get to the map mode, you see, everyone knows the first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. So if they talk about Fight Club, they're breaking the first rule of Fight Club. So that's on those. Now, you're sorry. Okay. Now this map mode, I do think it's kind of weird, right? In my opinion. I think it becomes it goes from very fight heavy in the when the water level's lowered, right? And then it kind of opens up to a more turf, like more that turf-oriented map. That makes sense. Like you have a lot more space, you can paint a lot more, so you can get a lot more specials. So I feel like it kind of morphs into a map where the more you paint, the better you'll do. If that makes sense.
Well, we will see if they have the paint available. I happen to know Ren tends to pick pencil, and no surprise there, we do see that pencil. And a pencil on both sides. We're also going to see a bubble on the side of Are We Geeked or Locked In, as well as Tri-Strikes, a Zuka, and a Crab on the side of Fight Club.
Yeah, we're gonna see Are We Geek getting at least a first star Lord, able to get one. Unfortunately, they're gonna lose zone to Fight Club at the moment, as Fight Club are actually gonna get 3 down on the side of Are We Geeked, and they're looking pretty strong right here because they at least have a special at the ready with the strikes to at least stop the advance. Unfortunately, Jekka is able to get one before going down themselves, so Fight Club getting a nice couple of trades to keep this clock ticking, and so far that's exactly what they want to do, as we're gonna see another carbon just striking over. Unfortunately, they're going to be forced to back up because the specials from Are We Geeked are actually going to come in and get the zone for them.
You see, this is why we've seen so much conversation about the bubble. They're able to kind of bank in that ink that they have on the floor. Unfortunately, losing this sort of 2v2 here to Fight Club, who is definitely inking, getting the zone back, able to put some penalty points on the side of Are We Geeked or Locked In, and continue their push. And you know, the thing about here also is that it's so easy to be stuck in your own spawn. They can just kind of put up this pressure, and especially with that carbon on the other team, it can be really tough to try and drop and not immediately get comboed by that bomb combo that Carbons love to do. And you see here, Are We Geeked or Locked In still struggling to get into mid and cap that, still not able to do it, and the clock continues ticking down to 26. They're going to have to group up and figure out how it is they're going to get to this zone fast before they lose. They're down to 9 already.
I mean, hey, there it is. Commentators are at least able to neutralize zone, get a massive penalty on the side of Fight Club. Jekka or Lord, they're able to at least get another pick. But I feel like for Are We Geek, they're beginning a lot of trades. They haven't really been winning a lot of their fights, which kind of led to them getting into this deficit. But as soon as I say that, they're getting a very quick 3 down on Fight Club. Lord is going to go down themselves to Ren on the pencil there. So we're gonna see Are We Geeked at least gets a little bit something going. They do have the bubble on the decaf, so a bit of protection for a bit of a backbone to them. Unfortunately, Jekka is gonna go down. 2 are gonna go down for Are We Geeked, so they're gonna see a very, very quick switch up to Fight Club having control of zone, and a lot of paint is going down in yellow. You just look at this map and look how yellow it is in mid. It's just kind of the story of it. Fight Club has been just controlling the paint, so they've been kind of limiting where Are We Geeked can move.
Very true. Just as you said off the top of this game, a lot about this map mode is about how much paint you are able to get down, and it does seem as though Fight Club is sort of ruling the paint and also ruling the economy of space, getting a solid wipe, and there's just not enough time to get back into that zone and cap it, giving the W to Fight Club.
I mean, they just, like I said earlier, Fight Club, they just kind of controlled the paint. So that means they controlled the kind of the tempo of the game anytime ROE Geeks tried to get in, because they had a very fight. They could fight really well, right? They were getting trades. And I think that was kind of the problem for them. They were getting trades, not kills. And the more trades they got, the better it was for Fight Club, because guess what? Pencil, it just painted. You can't do anything about it. So anytime there was paint going down in RE Geek's favor, guess what? Fight Club, Ren specifically, was able to just completely paint it up and also provide just a lot of support for the team. So unfortunately, they're not locked in. It's the best way I could put it.
Well, like I mentioned before, Ren, sort of famed pencil user from the team Pinpoint, if I'm not mistaken. So I am not surprised that when it comes to putting that paint down, you know, when you see someone using their main, they just really lock in, and I feel like you were able to see that with Ren and that pencil and that paint. But we will be heading, I believe, to Splat Zones on Robo Ramen once again. This seems to be quite a popular counter pick that we're seeing here in the second game. And I have to wonder if this is a very strong pencil map, so we're definitely going to still see this sort of death struggle for paint, but as this was picked by Are We Geeked or Locked In, I have to wonder what it is in particular about this map mode that leads them to believe that not only will they be strong on it, but that the other team might be ineffective against them here.
Well, the only thing I can really think of are two main things. You have that if they win the first team fight, if they get zone, they can they're really good at, they can be really good at locking out the ramp, because they do have the decaf with the bubble. They do have the carbon to kind of watch that underneath side, right? So I think that they have a really solid mortar to the zone. And also, speaking in addition to the carbon point, they can also have flank routes. Since Mint Decaf, it was a one-shot kill, so it can kind of flank, not the best, but it can still do it. So we're gonna see, okay, I'll switch up to the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, the longest weapon name in the game for no reason whatsoever. And on the side of Fight Club, no changes, so do you feel comfortable with what they got?
There has been a lot of conversation about this Rapid Pro Deco lately, I find, and I have been seeing it used in way more comps here. So I think also something to mention is that a lot of people aren't used to playing against it, aren't used to just how extreme its range is. So that can be very, very tough, but it seems as though it's not tough enough. Fight Club definitely already in this choke and sort of bullying them into their own spawn that you were talking about before. That might be something that Are We Geeked or Locked In may want to take advantage of. They do have this bubble up, enabling them to take that choke back, to take that space. But with three of them already going down, Jeans deciding to sort of hold their ground there, perhaps erroneously, as they also go down. However, the world's most hype slash ever, Jekka, able to get 3 down in a single slash. And I know all across the land, all decaf players are cheering.
I mean, hey, I guess you can say Fight Club really got their teeth brushed with that one, just absolutely saving the game for Are We Geek, and maybe that might have given them the momentum they're gonna need, because we see Are We Geek getting exactly what Fight Club did to them, getting another 3 down here. We can see Blob with the Rapid Deco just providing a lot of cover fire, especially over that snipe area, to just make sure that Ren on the pencil can't basically do what they want to do. But we're going to see Fight Club with a bit of a response here with the strikes and the crab and the pencil. We're going to see if they're able to paint the zone. They are able to, and Are We Geek are forced to give up at least a little bit of space. But with that one fight, or with that one hold, Are We Geek has proven that, hey, they can hang with Fight Club anytime.
But unfortunately, losing a few of their fights here, Fight Club able to not just get their hands back on this zone, but they are pretty handily making their way through their own penalty, while Are We Geeked, having held that for quite a while, has incurred a large one. So if they are able to make it past this choke and finally cap that zone, which is not looking good up against these specials, even if they are able to do so, they do have a strong penalty to get through. Going down to a stray bomb, trying to cap with the Zuka, but we all know Zuka's for killing, not for painting, and they are unfortunately not able to flip that back before Fight Club is able to get that W.
I think what Are We Geeked or Locked In tried to do was kind of catch Fight Club off guard with the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. Because yes, you did say it is being used more, there is more conversation of it, but it's not, I won't say it's not meta, it's not widely used, right? So it's kind of like a little, not, I don't want to say it's like niche, but it's like a niche pick. So yeah, so it's like, I think what the mindset was Fight Club isn't gonna know how to play around it, they're not gonna experience it, so we're just able to abuse that. And unfortunately, Fight Club, it didn't matter, they just kept doing what they were doing. Now yes, Are We Geeked did get a very, very clutch Jekka triple kill with one slash, which did kind of ignite at least a little bit of a fire in Are We Geeked Yet. But unfortunately, Fight Club, they took it on the chin, and they kind of won. They did exactly what they did in that first part, or in that first hold again, and Are We Geeked Yet just couldn't escape it.
I will say, I think it's a sort of coordination that's coming out of Fight Club as it pertains to special use. You saw they were backed up, they were in their own spawn, they were getting bullied there by Are We Geeked. And what I noticed with this retake here, they were able to stagger them a bit with a lot of special use. I believe we saw triple ink strikes coming out, forcing the other team to move back into that mid, and then after that an immediate crab was popped. So with all of those specials that were like coming out, and I think it was just specials on specials, they had to move back. Too many of them died, and unfortunately they lost their Hode. But we are going back to a particular place I remember you not quite caring for, Mako Mar, and I have to wonder, with all this conversation we've had about the use of AoEs here, if we're going to see that Rapid Pro Deco again, or if they've said it didn't work last time, we're leaving it in the trunk. We're going back to pencil.
I could see them sticking with the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, right? I do think it is very useful. It can basically check the underneath part of the stacks for you. You don't have to like put yourself in harm's way. You can basically affect around the pillow in the zone. So if anyone's sharking over there, you can kind of get rid of them really quickly. But I think what the problem for Are We Geeked or Locked In is that they kind of panic, especially in we saw in that last game. They kind of panicked when Fight Club retook, and that led them very disoriented, or not very scattered. So they were picked off one by one. That's how they went 3 down. And Fight Club, I think, just they took full advantage of it. So if you're Are We Geeked, I think what the answer for you is just, okay, we can't panic and use our special. We have to like take it calmly and just like let's ride out this storm.
I have to imagine a lot of the win con here for Are We Geeked is actually going to be taking out Ren in particular. Ren on this pencil not only is a very strong player, but also is going to have a lot of ink online, and they were struggling that first game with sort of space control and the entire map being orange, really. So if they're able to pressure this pencil and get them out of position, I think they have it made in the shade. But we see Fight Club already taking the zone and sort of forcing several members of Are We Geeked to move back, killing them on their own plat here and taking control. We have a Crab online, pressuring everyone who's in that top left, getting a pick on Jeans. And so far, it seems as though Fight Club has very strong control over the entire map. And also, they're just getting a solid amount of picks, not really worried about like getting pushed back, and they're already halfway through the entirety of their points.
Yeah, and they're gonna keep on going. Actually, for RB Geek, they're gonna switch over to the Gal and the Junior for a bit more pain, but it might not matter if you aren't able to get into the zone, because Fight Club with only 13 ticks remaining, Lord is gonna at least get one. Jeans with the bubble to try to get in, but Jeans is gonna go down as well, and Fight Club, despite having to go against two of our geeked or locked in counterplays, were able to make a comeback in the second game and just 100-0 in game number 3, taking a very, very clean set here. So I guess the answer is they're geeked. They were locked in.
For now, yeah, it's looking like they were indeed geeked instead of locked in there, unfortunately. But games well played. I find that Fight Club is a very strong team. I think they were seeded second, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes,
certainly they were going up against a giant here, as is kind of evident in this 3-0. But they fought well. Very interesting comps. Loved that second battle there on Robo Ramen. But sometimes, you know, you're going up against a giant and it's tough to cut it. But I believe we are going to be headed into finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Fight Club will be headed into finals. However, we're gonna wait on the other set to conclude. So with that, that'll be it for our semis. But like we said earlier, we have our finals coming up. So we're gonna be back in a little while. Of course, y'all don't want to go anywhere. Y'all don't want to miss the final set. So grab a snack, but come right back, because we'll be right back in a little bit. Well, everyone, the moment you have been waiting for, 8-ball Blitz number 25 finals. We have a 1 versus 2 seed. We have Syzygy as your number 1, Fight Club as your number 2. I am Topic, joined once again by Sasu. And for our first game of this final set, we're going to a familiar place, but a different variation. We're going to Barnacle and Dine Splat Zones.
Oh, golly gosh, I have nothing but negative things to say about this particular map mode. At least for me, this can be so tough, and I think might be a struggle also for our players here. Barnacle and Dime, like I mentioned before, huge map, and it's even more disadvantageous, particularly on zones. Extremely lockout heavy. If they are able to win enough fights, usually around 2, once you lose that plat, it's going to be grueling to get it back. And sometimes if the whole team wipes, the sheer amount of time it takes to get back into mid can be the difference between an L or a W on this map mode. But we're going to see these loadouts looking like the same thing out of Fight Club. But we do see Baketan here on this leader, like we saw before, and pretty standard choices on the side of Syzygy. We'll see who is able to take this mid and ultimately firstly take the zone. We already have a member going down on the side of Syzygy here, and we're still unbelievably in neutral. Both teams fighting here and taking their 1v1s to be able to get the zone, but ultimately it is Fight Club that is able to win enough of these fights and move in, and they're moving to definitely try and get Syzygy into their spawn and not able to get past that sort of section there. It's going to be an uphill battle for Syzygy to try and get their way into mid.
I mean, it might be not as uphill as you think. It might be an anthill, as Syzygy are very, very quickly able to take over the second you were saying that. So a bit of a commentator's curse, as one may. So maybe now Syzygy has an opportunity here to get a bit of blockout of their own, and with the help of the E-leader, that might be very effective at trying to at least shut down or at least scare the pencil away. But we're gonna see Syzygy able to at least get close to taking the lead, but one is gonna go down. Looney here, unfortunately, is gonna go down to the chip by the Trizuka, so that will be at least a neutral situation again, and Fight Club will end up winning. Unfortunately, they're gonna go 2 down, and there's Harshi, who usually plays pencil, going on 52. Very interesting pick for them, but Syzygy are able to very quickly collect themselves after a lost fight and just push ahead.
Yes, and they are very steadily making their way through their penalty already. Their numbers ticking down, widening their lead here, but there's not much Fight Club can do about that. They're going to have to win these fights, clear out their own bats before they're able to even make it there. But the thing is, you're talking about that pencil. I'm assuming it's because we have Baketan here, ever watchful in their own bats with this charger here that you don't want to have double up on that double charger, so you're going to have to go to Gal. But luckily Fight Club able to kind of get out of the watchful eye of that leader and make their way into mid, ultimately taking the zone back. They have to take this space. They have to deny Syzygy their own plat to be able to stay alive here, because if they scatter, as kind of would happen, they are able to lose the zone here. So Ren alone on this pencil, not able to have this jump out. A lot of hectic things going on, but it seems as though Syzygy is able to constantly win these fights and force Fight Club back into their spawn over and over again.
Yeah, the time-tested strategy of divide and conquer is there for a reason, and Syzygy is taking that to its fullest. The carbon will get shut down, so Nozuka the crab is gonna drop and forced to roll. They're gonna go down as well. Syzygy with 10 ticks remaining, 2 are gonna go down, so this Fight Club's opportunity to possibly get into zone and paint over the pencil is gonna do their job. The carbon with the flank able to do it as right before Syzygy is able to get the jumps in, but unfortunately for Syzygy, Syzygy, they will go to down. So Fight Club might get the zone, but no, Looney is there to paint over it. So even though Fight Club did capture the zone, Syzygy is still in a lot of control here. Unfortunately, going one down to Ren here. Another one going down as well. So Fight Club still in this game. So with 90 seconds remaining in this game, they are not out of it.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic job sort of strategizing, taking their time slowly. And once they were able to get stop that push there before, they were able to sort of keep the zone here. But there are 2 going down, I think 3 going down, meaning, yeah, only 1 left in that zone. But we do see some great Carbon gaming here, able to jump in and not immediately go down. And they're able to still kind of like keep this area here with this trade. Definitely what you want to see if you are a Carbon. You're kind of just wanting to make sure that the other team is dead, so that's a great trade there. Hammer coming out, getting 1 pick. Looney here trying to paint over, but 2 going a triple here from these dualies, able to keep this. If they are able to move forward, take that plat, I think we might be able to see a lead switch. We'll see.
I mean, we're gonna see Syzygy not quite able to paint the zone. They're gonna go 2 down the cells. Carbon's gonna go down, 3 down on the side of Syzygy, and that will do it. Fight Club, despite being on the ropes, will swing back with some force and will take game 1 right from under the nose of Syzygy. They were 3 points away. They were 3 ticks and away, and Fight Club at the very last opportunity managed to just, they held on, really.
Yeah, even despite several members going down, like I talked about before, we had that jump in from the Carbon where they were able to kill the person who was camping their jump, and from there keep that space for, I think, the rest of their teammates to get in there. Definitely taking that W from the jaws of defeat there. It's very rare that I think we see a team kind of get back captain reverse swept on a place like Barnacle and Dime, so I definitely have to give it up to Fight Club there for a valiant effort and keeping the zone there with the other members alive from Syzygy. I have to wonder what this counter pick is going to be from Syzygy here after whatever they have gleaned from Barnacle and Dime. I can only imagine it's going to be one of the many leader maps in this game, seeing as though they do have Baketan on that leader.
Well, when I think of leader maps, of course I think of Hammerhead, but I don't think they're gonna pick Hammerhead. Possibly something like Scourge Gorge zones, since it's very hard to get to the leader. Maybe Eel Tail, if they're feeling like that. More common maps, I would say Inkblot zones, because you do have the bats area. You can basically, if you get the zone, you could possibly just take the mid tower for yourself. So those are a couple of things I could see them going, but honestly I could see them go any of the maps, because that was a pretty even game. It really came down to Syzygy just kind of losing like 2 or 3 team fights, and then Fight Club, of course, they took full advantage of it, and they just ran with it and never looked back.
Yeah, it was definitely a kind of I'm seeing here, I think, is this the 3rd time?
Yes.
In a row, we are seeing the counter pick being Robo Ramen zones. I don't know what it is about this particular place. Maybe it's its lockout heaviness. Maybe it's its flanks giving people more opportunities. Not completely shocking now that I think about it. Robo Ramen, definitely one of the better zones maps on offer in Splatoon 3. It feels very fair, but you're going to have to watch for people getting stuck up in these choke points. After you cap that zone, people want to move up to that choke, fight there, win that fight, and then you practically have the other team stuck in their own spawn.
Yeah, well, I think the real reason why teams love going to Robo Ramen is very, very obvious. They want to make us hungry with their ramen bowl, and so
Ramen is
far,
delicious. That
yeah,
must
and
be
so
it.
far it is working. But enough about us being hungry. Looks like we're gonna be hopping into the second game. Will Syzygy manage to fight back? World Fight Club kind of extend their dominant lead? We're gonna see a big switch up here. Bake going over to the pencil, bless up, going with the Neo Splash, and Looney going over to the Stamper. So a lot different, a lot more fight heavy with the Stamper and the 52. And so far, it's going to work out 1-for-1 trade on both sides. And Syzygy will take the first control of zone, but there is Fight Club still there. Harshy is going to go down, and Fight Club will again recapture the zone and take a lead here.
I do think one of the reasons that Fight Club was able to eke out that win is, like we were talking about before, Ren's just very impressive use of pencil, is super able to get a lot of space with the ink that they put down. And I think coming up against a leader, obviously you do not have that painting pressure to take that space. And you're seeing that on display right here. Fight Club able to kind of put the kibosh on that push and force Syzygy back, despite them having that pencil on their side. I have to imagine they need to be worrying about their coordination here. They have a lot of offensive pressure between this Stamper and a Gal, and they have strikes, and yet they're still struggling to ever stop Fight Club. Fight Club already at 12. If they're not able to get themselves together and really cap over this, and luckily they're able to do it. Ren jumping out there, the only person left, while Syzygy finally able to take a breath of relief, putting an extremely hefty 72 points of penalty on the other team, as it's now their time to regroup and see what they can do to keep them back so that they can hopefully get this full knockout.
I mean, yeah, so far they're gonna try at least do that with Harshy going to go down about getting a trade. Unfortunately, Bake will get another one. So Syzygy kind of establishing their hold here, getting it down to 45 points for remaining Fight Club, though they don't quite have to panic just yet. They can try to possibly wait for one more opportunity at this, but as you see the clock ticking down, they're gonna have to go in. Carbon's gonna get one, looking for another, forced to back away, but just for now, they're gonna run out of ink, so they're going to go down. Syzygy, a striking distance with 15 ticks remaining. You see the members of Syzygy just jumping in, trying to protect the zone. Unfortunately, the Crab and the Strikes are going to go in, and they're going to capture the zone with 1 point to spare, and Syzygy will have a large penalty to overcome. The Carbon's going to go down. Looney with the Zipcaster trying to go in, trying to go for a pig, not quite able to find it, at least being a distraction, able to find it eventually, and Syzygy getting another one, so no cooler for Fight Club. Actually, this will be a wipeout, so the tables have really turned in Syzygy's favor.
Yes, but they do still have 27 ticks to get through before they're able to get down that quintessential point before they are able to get the lead, and it's looking like they're probably going to do it with 2 members down in Fight Club, and that's just not enough time to make it back into mid and cap. Syzygy able to stop the reverse sort of the steal that happened last time with the critical cap, taking home the win on Robo Ramen Zones.
I mean, first thing, that mask, terrifying. Anyways, yeah, so like Syzygy, I think they kind of learned from that first game. Of course, too close for comfort. 1 point. I probably want to be a little more than just 1, but yeah, they kind of learned. They didn't panic as much when Fight Club got up on them really early. They just kind of collected themselves, and they were kind of able to just do what Fight Club did to them. Syzygy kind of got them staggered. They got I believe a wipeout plus a 3 down later, I want to say, something like that, something similar.
Yeah.
And they just kept Fight Club staggered, and it just worked out really well for them.
Yeah, it did happen several times. I will say, I think Fight Club also struggling a bit with that retake for sure. In a place like Robo Ramen's there's not a lot of space for you to build up your pressure once you're backed up into your own spawn, unlike, say, a Barnacle and Dime that has this very large space you can ink. So having this Crab and Azuka on their Carbon, there's just not... They do have those tri-strikes, but you're going to want to save that for when you're able to push the other team back into their choke. So unfortunately, Fight Club having a bit of a weak retake there, I think, causing some struggle for them as it pertains to this particular map, and stopping their staggering. And it's the coveted Mako Mart is back once again, but this time on tower control. Tower control, Mako Mart, I feel like for me, it's just so much fighting back and forth. It's very rarely a complete like 0 to 100. There's so many ways for the other team to oppose you while you're making your push. So given that one of these teams has a Carbon and this sort of what they're playing before we were talking about these stacks and the AoE, I'm excited to see if we're going to see some switches from any of these teams.
Well, since they've kind of gotten this far, I doubt that the core identity will switch. Maybe like they switch players on who's playing it will kind of happen, but I doubt that. Like the
no surprise rapid pro decos.
Okay, I would be in favor of it, but are we gonna see it? Probably not, so I'm not gonna hold my breath. But yeah, I do think, like you said, this is very fight oriented because I think there are two main choke points on this map. It's right underneath the enemy snipe. Everyone else, very hard to get through because you know the enemy's gonna be there. And the second one is right in front of Freezer, like towards the second checkpoint, because I believe second checkpoint is like the biggest choke point of this map, because if you get that, that's basically like a game-winning push. But we're going to see, as from Fight Club, no changes. Syzygy, though, one major change. Harshy going over to the custom blaster with Splashdown. So, you know, it's tower control. What else would you expect?
Yes, and honestly, it's a particularly useful weapon on this map mode when you have that splashdown and you have people on these stacks doing a splashdown to a pencil that might be perched up on snipe can definitely get rid of them and pressure them a lot. But we are seeing a lot of blue here, a lot of map control coming out of the side of Syzygy, despite two going down on both sides. So like we said before, it is a lot of back and forth, neither team getting below 90 yet. We'll see if Fight Club can fix that. They do take the lead and they do finally get past 90. Ren able to keep this tower as well as get that get the cooler out, which does subsequently break. As we know, coolers break faster on tower, but a lot of these specials going out, this Zuka Data Fetch unfortunately doesn't find anybody, and again, we're down to 64, but it's not a huge lead. Very easy to get past that point if you're Syzygy, so they're still alive here.
I mean, yeah, they're still alive. They got all 4 members up. A Hammer is gonna go out to at least cover up some paint, but a flank from the T-Tech is gonna get a double kill, so shutting that momentum down before he can even start. Harshy with the splash, unable to get one captured squid, so very unfortunate for them. So yeah, Fight Club able to at least stop the bleeding for now, but Harshy is looking for more, able to get Ren, not quite though. Ren staying alive, actually baiting Harshy into getting dropped on by the Carbon. Great job by Ren, but staying alive, and now Fight Club with the opportunity here to kind of extend their lead a little bit, affect the snipe area, possibly get a little bit more closer to that second checkpoint. The Carbon, of course, watching the 6 of the tower. Unfortunately, they're gonna go down. 3 down for the side of Fight Club. Thankfully, the dude's able to at least get 1 before getting their team in. Unfortunately, a bomb kill will get them down. So now Syzygy with the opportunity here, but I feel like anytime either of these teams have tried to push any further, it's been a flank has been getting 1 or 2 of them.
Yes, we constantly see up there on that UI, there are people going up and down. We do have Namika on this carbon kind of trying to ledge there, but jumping out to stay safe. Namika has been doing a really great job on sort of jump scaring here, being exactly where you do not want them to be, popping out of nowhere and getting these great picks here in this 1v1, and rightfully the person there in a 1v1 deciding to jump out as they sort of shark here and try and clear off the tower. Like we've been talking about with these flanks, it's so hard for them to just kind of like get a solid holding on the tower, but they're looking to have probably a lead switch here. But Baketan going down, stopping that possibility a little bit here, especially with 2 down on the side of Syzygy. It is not great for them. They have a minute 30 left, but Fight Club, despite having the lead, does not have a large lead here, and neither team has that second checkpoint, which is the hardest one, and I would say the win condition here. So lots of fights back and forth, but you know, they're still hanging in there.
I mean, yeah, it's only a 9-point lead, so it's really volatile. It's just about if Syzygy break through, and that's a good start. Another 3 down on Fight Club. You see them affecting the sniper to at least get that cleared out. It's going to work. The strikes are going to be a bit of an insurance policy. They're able to take the lead. Looney with the hammer able to not quite able to get the dualies in time. Unfortunately for Fight Club, they're going to go 2 down anyway, so Looney bit of a flank here. They're looking for the dualies, not able to get them themselves. Syzygy getting it down to 42-40, still going Harshy on tower. Bake with a bit of support, able to get down to 33 and break the second checkpoint. That will be huge for Syzygy. Unfortunately, another one's going to go down, so that will be the end of the push, but Syzygy doing a lot of damage with that push. And now Fight Club has all the pressure on their back. They need to get not only to 27, but they also have to break the second checkpoint on the way.
Yeah, that is a tall order, especially when you have 3 of your own members down regardless. And we're looking at the last few seconds, and quite frankly, at that point, you're sitting ducks when too many of your members go down, unfortunately. So that is another W for Syzygy. Much like the last game, they kind of got that lead and then calmed down, staggered the other team. We're able to kind of eke it out at the end there, very similar to that first game that we were watching on Barnacle and Dime.
Yeah, it was just really good from Syzygy. Like you said, it was kind of like a big scrap in mid for the most part. You know, both teams got to around that I'll say that like 70 mark. It got back to mid, a lot of fighting. Fight Club struck first, getting it to 63, I believe, and then 63, and then you know Syzygy took it. They had one shot. They took it. They ran 8 miles with it. Absolutely no problem for them whatsoever. So yeah, like I said, they were able to at least squeak it out. Stop Fight Club final opportunity here. Now, we're looking at game 4, Fight Club. Looking at, unfortunately, getting gentlemen swept here. So they have to be really selective with their counter pick.
Yes, definitely. I think that they've probably I think they've picked Rainmaker Undertow. An interesting choice. It does make sense. They have a carbon on their team, I believe, and I find that with these open spaces and these walls for you to kind of go around, we saw already the carbon did a really strong job. I believe that carbon is Namika of kind of jump scaring the other team, getting these surprise picks, and I think that's going to be all the more frustrating to deal with in a place like Undertow, in a mode like Rainmaker. So definitely excited to see that, and if they can sort of fight back and keep themselves alive in the game, because if they don't win this, that's going to be it, as this is a best of 5.
Yeah, and I think now going over to the map mode itself, I do think this is, in my opinion, one of the better Rainmaker map modes in the game, because it's so variable. You're allowed to switch paths really quickly. And I think that sort of, variability. I think what the plan is, just thought, is that Fight Club will try to send 3 members on that left-hand side. The long, kind of sustained push out, and then have Namika, like you said, on that with the carbon, kind of go for that flank, that really that right side flank, to try to like get them off guard. But we're gonna see Fight Club. They have to win this, of course, game 5. No changes from them. Syzygy, what are they gonna go with? Same thing. Actually, no, they're gonna go with the Ink Vac. So now a little bit of Vac cheese probably. So I don't know. We're gonna see Syzygy looking to end this tourney right here, right now.
Yes, I do believe, as much as people have been having conversations about Ink Vac and its efficacy, there's no denying that when you pop that Ink Vac in the middle of your push, having the Rainmaker holder be invulnerable as they get that check is super useful. We do have Ren being sort of zipped here, able to survive that zip though, but one going down on the side of Syzygy. Right now it's just kind of a scrappy 1v1 until someone is able to grab the Rainmaker. That's going to be Ren on the side of Fight Club, kind of making their way on their own, backing up a bit. It seems as though everyone from Syzygy has come back, and there's a Vac online. Very hard to get to the checkpoint at that point, but a valiant push from Fight Club, but also they're able to get 3 members down, giving them a free checkpoint. Absolutely not what you want to see if you're Syzygy. Even with this zip online, they're looking down an active Trizuka, and Ren kind of sneaking in there, almost able to get there. I believe Namika still alive as the carbon, fighting against the other team, but does go down. No jumps in that. Someone jumped in there. Unfortunately, not able to get some work down, but getting it down to a 5. Syzygy has a massive mountain ahead of them that they're going to have to scale if they're going to win this game.
I mean, unfortunately, the T-Tech making it a little bit harder, getting the Rainmaker down, so Syzygy will have to at least try again. The cooler weapon going down is also no cooler for Syzygy as well. Harshy, though, playing some defense, able to at least get 1, gonna get 2, so Fight Club won't be able to at least extend their lead any further. But if you're Syzygy, like you said, they have a really tall mountain to climb. Might as well be Mount Everest, though. The crab is there to shut that down. Looney looking for 1, not quite able to find. They're gonna go down as well. So Fight Club has been being pretty good this game at just shutting down Syzygy. Every time they picked it up, there's always been at least someone there to get the Rainmaker down before they even have an opportunity to get anything going. But we're gonna see here as Harshy going for another pick on the T-Tech here. A bit of a fight. T-Tech's going to win, and with about 2 minutes left to go, Syzygy, they have made very little progress on getting this lead.
I think that between having this charger, which is very good for the Vac, but at the end of the day, the Vac not useful if you are not able to get that Rainmaker. Not to mention, usually as it pertains to comp Splatoon, you're gonna have that backline picking up the Rainmaker, as you saw Ren having it before, but because of that Vac, you have to have somebody else picking it up, which means that you're going to be down some offensive power when you are making that push, which is a huge struggle for Syzygy. Because it seems as though Fight Club is really throwing absolutely everything they can at them to make sure that they don't move forward. And as you can see, 3 of them have gone down. So Fight Club definitely having these like successful fights, making it harder for them to push up. But even despite only 1 member being up on the side of Fight Club, it's still very hard on Syzygy, as that 1 member did have a Zuka. And yeah, I feel as though Fight Club has learned from the other games that they can't take it slow. They can't sort of wait. They're going to have to smother Syzygy with all of the offensive power they have, take the lead, keep them down, and win the game.
I mean, hey, you gotta fight fire with fire. Unfortunate, got caught on cam. Yeah, you have to fight fire with fire if you're Fight Club, and so far it's been working out. Syzygy has possibly 2 more chances to get something going, but Baka is gonna go down almost instantly. They still have 2 spots. They have the vac, they have the zip catcher. They can at least try to get some of Fight Club disoriented. But we're gonna see here Looney just looking for an opportunity to go in here, not quite able to find one. 20 seconds remaining. A pick. Rainmaker is gonna be picked up. Looney trying to go win. Harshy's gonna go down. Looney is gonna go down. Just Bake and the Rainmaker left. We're gonna see what they can do. Not a whole lot. They're both gonna go down. Jumps are gonna come in, but it's not going to be enough. Harshy, the last member remaining for Syzygy in that area, but they're gonna go down as well. And Fight Club, despite looking a bit down and out after those last 2 games, able to just bring everything they can at Syzygy and force a game 5 with a very, very dominant game win.
Very dominant and very masterful. It seemed to me like you can see why it is that they counterpicked this particular map mode. As much as I said, I think it's a setup for this Carbon, it seemed as though every single member really had control of this entire map and what they were doing. Denying Syzygy, I think, even the opportunity to get that first check. I think, yeah, they learned from the other games. We give them an inch, they might take a mile. So just like happened in that tower game, then we're not going to give them that inch. We're going to smother them with absolute offensive power. That's exactly what they did, and that ended in a dominant game. But we're moving to a game 5, and it's going to be Syzygy's pick. So Fight Club is going to be, despite stopping them from winning the entire set, Fight Club now going to kind of be on the back foot, as they're really at the mercy as to whatever it is Syzygy thinks will be their strongest thing. We're looking already at a zones pick, particularly Mahi Resort.
Okay, I see it. I see the vision. If you're Syzygy, right? You've been very fight heavy. You're gonna try to limit what Syzygy can do. Try to limit the Carbon, so you know the water level's down. It's not a lot of space for it to move, right? So you're very easily able to point that out. But once the level rises, once that happens, it becomes a lot more open. It becomes a lot more Carbon friendly. But I think what their plan is, at least from an outsider's perspective, is to get so far up, get in the base of Fight Club, make sure that they can't even play the game, basically, so that the Carbon is ineffective, so that they can't do what they did last game, so that they can't kind of all out blitz you. Because I think that's why they also picked zones in particular, is because, you know, Rainmaker, you're allowed to move very, very quickly. You're allowed, because you have to force the Rainmaker or the objective towards the enemy base. But with zones, it's stationary, so you can't really force anyone. You can't force the objective towards something. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say, but you can't force it to them. So I think their plan is to at least try to, you know, bring the fight to Fight Club, basically. It's the best way I could put it. But we're gonna see, as we're gonna hop into game number 5.
Yes, I think I see what you're saying there. When you think about it, despite that loss on Barnacle, Syzygy did do super well there. They just kind of had the win sort of swiped from under their nose. So they're definitely already confident in their abilities on zones, but much like a Barnacle and Dime, and especially in Robo Ramen zones, these are places that can be very lockout heavy. So just as you said, I have to imagine they're trying to bring the fight to Fight Club, but questionable as to its efficacy right now, because it seems as though Syzygy is kind of being like locked out a little bit here. Not necessarily locked out, but definitely pushed back. They have a lot of pressure on them, and they're being forced back into sort of their own court area, but we have Baketan kind of keeping that poise, taking people down even on this pencil, has the cooler for their team, calling them forward, which is very important because you have a member there going down without that cooler, and Syzygy's really going to have to organize as Fight Club is almost halfway through their points and they still have their Carbon alive. 2 members going down, but Syzygy kind of taking a little bit to finally cap that zone. And now they have the chance to regroup and figure out how it is they're going to make sure they can keep this zone.
Yeah, but the question is, can they keep it? Because Fight Club aren't going to give up that easy. 2 specials at the ready for Syzygy. Both the strikes and the zip caster. The strikes are going to be popped for Fight Club. Unfortunately, the tech's going to go down. The Zuka will come out, though, at least going to get 1. So Fight Club might have opportunity to get in here, but not that much. Namake is able to get 1, and that will give Fight Club the opportunity that they need to get in and recapture the zone. Looney all on an island by themselves. They're getting looked at by 3 people, forced to pop a zip catcher to stay alive. They're going to go down eventually. So Fight Club able to at least get a penalty onto Syzygy and actually almost eat to the penalty points here.
Yes, they are in neutral here. Definitely still capping, though. Probably looking for the lead. And I think they might be able to catch it, especially with 2 down on the other side. It seems as though Bless up here waiting for the rest of their teammates, trying to get themselves together with their specials before they can push. There is a lead swap here, but not so far big enough of a lead that they maybe have to worry, but time is ticking, and unless they rush zone and really stop and put these penalty points super soon, they're going to be in trouble, and they are able to get that cap luckily for them and keep themselves alive. But unfortunately, they are hit with a pretty nasty 43 penalty for a momentary flip from Fight Club, and now we have Bless Up and several members of the team pushing up on that right side to apply this pressure. They are definitely trying to keep them nice locked up in their own spawn, so they won't be able to drop and they won't be able to reach that zone and cap it again.
Yeah, and so far they're doing a really good job of doing that. You see Harshy there on the blaster kind of sharking underneath the drop area for anybody. Syzygy eats through the penalty points, getting it down to 30 ticks remaining. We're going to see 1 in the zone trying to go for it. They're going to go down as well. 3 down for Fight Club. Not what you want to see. So Syzygy will take control of the lead. Not that long to go. Fight Club just has to go for the zone if they want to hold off a little bit. Another one's going to go down. 6 ticks remaining. Both of them going to drop. They're both going to get wiped out, and Syzygy, despite losing that final game, will collect themselves, will fend off Fight Club's final hurrah, and will win 8-ball Blitz number 25. So congratulations to you, Fight Club. Hey, you did what your name implied. Put up a good fight.
Yeah, definitely a great fight there from Fight Club. They had an initial lead, very strong hold. I have to imagine it's sort of frustrating to have that great of a hold and to just kind of see it slip from your fingers there. But a valiant effort for sure from Fight Club, but definitely Syzygy took the time, had a deep breath, collected themselves, and, clicked the go button. This was a victory, but a victory hard fought and won with a 3-2. And as you said, that's a gold medal for Syzygy here in 8-bit Blitz 25. So congratulations for them, and congratulations to the silver medalists as well.
Yeah, so great job to both teams. Of course, we also like to at least shout out 3rd place, so that will go to, I believe, yes, Are We Geeked or Are We Locked In? We'll get 3rd place, so that will be your top 3. So Fight Club number 2 and Are We Geeked or Locked In number 3. So with that, that'll be the conclusion of 8-bit Blitz number 25. But before we go, we have a couple of housekeeping to do. So Sasu, where can people find you?
The people can find me at Sasu in your pants. That is my social media for anything that I'm on. Blue Sky, Twitter, which I don't super use anymore, Instagram, what have you, Discord. If I'm on it, that's my tag. That's SASUINUR pants. And where can they find you, Topic?
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter and Blue Sky at Topical2, over on Discord at Topic_2, and that's about all my social media. So, one more thing before we, sign out. If you, slow shout out, if you are in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, come to Big Dapple number 6. It'd be fun. Trust me. As Sasu here, who's been there, it was fun last time, right?
Yes, and I commentated there too, so you can probably catch both of us commentating at Big Dapple. So definitely consider coming, especially if you've never been to a LAN.
Yeah, so come to Big Dapple. But with that being said, of course, thank you to Vito for being our wonderful streamer. Thank you to all the 8-bit Blitz staff for, doing all behind the work stuff, making sure the tourney runs correctly, and that'll be it from us over at the show today. But, of course, everyone, have a good night, and, of course, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye!